to Carfitable Talks. We're excited to be here. I want to let you know that you can watch Carfitable Talks on YouTube now. And we've got, what is it under? Carfitable Talks, I guess.
It's under...
Vicki Mac.
Oh, hey!
And
Hi,
and we've also got, remember we also have our Vicki Max Wax tracks, so you can listen to our latest music playlist that we've got going. So we're very excited today. You guys, I have been highly influenced by the inauguration, so I am overdue, honey. I got pearls on and I got my tiara in honor of Amanda Gorman, who did that incredible poem. So, and I got my pearls for Kamala, and I guess the pearls also signify AKA. I'm not an AKA, but have a lot of respect for AKA, so I had to put on my pearls. And then all together, it's like a whole Bridgerton thing I've got going.
Bridgerton are just very stately right now.
No, I'm being Bridgerton in my head anyway. I'm just kind of being fabulous with Bridgerton. Yeah, so I got all fancied up in regal kinky or curly type curl, whatever you want to call it. My hair, my natural hair, darling. Like Bridgerton, I just have it all going and flowing.
You want to tell the people why we have Tupac on?
Oh, we have Tupac on because today we're going to have none other than Demetrius Shipp Jr., who was the lead. He played Tupac in All Eyes on Me, and he's got some other really big shows coming up on Netflix.
Cutthroat City is out right now on Netflix.
Right.
Check it out.
Yep, so we're really excited to have young actor here right from LA. I don't want to say too much until we have him, get him right on, but
Right.
we're excited. I mean, LA young people are really doing things because I don't want to talk about it too much, but I was just outdone by Amanda
We'll talk
Gorman.
a little bit about
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk about it. Hi, Alicia.
Hey,
You guys should all know
Alicia.
Alicia, but if you don't, this is one of Gospel Centric's own first female gospel rap artist, Alicia. And so, thank you, Alicia, for loving the blue, and a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
It's got a tremendous story. I think, Alicia, you have a project that's out. Is the whole project out, or is the single out? But she's getting back into the game, and we're excited about that too. So, yeah, it's a really exciting day, and we've got our little Tupac thing going there. Hi, Steve McCoy.
California.
Yeah, we've got a young actor on, and I got to tell you all about how we met Demetrius, because it's crazy. And Alicia, you may even know Demetrius Shipp Jr. and not realize that you do. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well.
Was that before or after when you started doing beach?
I'm not sure, but we're just super excited about it all and him coming on. So yeah, it's gonna be.
Right. Okay, because I was thinking.
I'm not sure. I know, Alicia. I'm not sure if you remember.
I gotta wear a mask, unfortunately.
You got to keep your mask on.
Yeah, because of where I'm at.
He's on set. That's okay.
Oh, you're on the
Yeah,
set.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
How
well,
you doing?
can you
I'm
pull
doing
it down for 1
good.
second? Pull it right up.
Yeah.
See that face?
There.
That's too funny.
I know. Let me tell
Oh,
you.
yeah, she worked with Mitch on 2G's project.
2G's project. Okay. Alicia, I don't know if you remember Alicia Meach from A1 Swift. I don't know if you remember that project. Your dad.
Wi-Fi. Can you hear me?
Do you remember? We're so young, but this is the deal. We know Meach. Pardon me? We know Meach because, and is it okay if we call you, if we say Little Meach every now and then?
That's all good. Don't worry about it.
Okay, no, we're going to call you Meach. We're going to call you Meach. We'll give you that respect.
Let me know, because the Wi-Fi is a little
Back
shaky
in the
where I'm at right
day,
now.
No,
Are you?
Can you?
No,
Yes.
I think he's
no,
okay.
you're
I don't know
coming
if you have
through.
a really good connection. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
I
that's
think he's okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you're good.
So anyway, Meech came with his father, Demetrius Shipp Sr. Was a producer and at Gospel Centric. He worked on Gospel Gangsters,
It was
Yeah.
a bunch of projects.
a bunch of projects. John Gibson. He was
Oh
kind
wow.
of our
Yeah.
resident in-house. You remember all that?
Yeah. I remember
And
John
he was
Gibson. Wow.
little.
At the studio.
Were you 8 years old, 10 years old? How old were you?
Oh man.
He had to be like 8.
Ooh, around that time, I had to be no older than 10. So,
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
no, I was right
That's
about, I was
right.
about 10. Yeah, I think about 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
We used to hang out.
And Meech would come into the office with his dad and his mom and his sister.
Yeah.
And now one thing I remember a couple of times I almost had to spank you. He was flirting with Shami. He was 10 years old flirting with Shami. And I was like, boy, if you don't get out of here, I'm going to beat you down.
He was acting girl for a 10-year-old.
Yeah, no competition. There's a couple other 10 years old. The 10 little boys trying to hit a shot.
That's
And I'm like,
funny.
you're trying to get Shami put in jail.
That's so
Do you
funny.
remember that?
I remember that crush. That
Yeah, you had
I
a
definitely remember that one.
crush on Shami. I think she was
Right.
in her 20s, and
No,
you
No,
asked
she
her to
was
the
not
prom.
that old.
early.
No, not yet, but I mean,
Okay.
later on, you asked her to a prom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do that. I don't know how old she was at that point.
Old enough to get put in jail.
I was like 20, so there would have been a problem.
Old enough to get put in jail.
Oh,
But
that is
so
funny.
one day, I was
It would
talking
have
to
been fun though.
I was talking to a dear friend of ours, Michelle Duffy,
Uh-huh.
and we were talking about Demetrius Shipp Sr., who was Meech, and I said, "You talked to Meech lately?" And she said, "Girl, Meech Jr. is in the Tupac movie." I said, "What? Little Meech is in a movie?" She said. I said, "What's he doing in there?" She said, "He's playing Tupac." I said, "He's doing what?" And I cried.
Wow.
I cried.
I said, oh, I get it.
Yeah, that's not one reason, because I didn't remember that so much time had passed and I
Got
hadn't
you.
seen you.
Right,
So
right.
that
Wow.
was number one. So that just kind of choked me up. And that you were in a movie. I was like,
Were you doing music at that time? Or you just,
Yeah, I was doing music. Yeah, that was always my passion. I was following,
Right,
of course,
right.
my dad and stuff, producing and
Right.
stuff. So, yeah, that just came about kind of crazy because it was nothing that anybody expected. I had never wanted to act in any way. It was like, basically my best friend, he kind of like pressured me into doing the audition to begin with. My best friend and my cousin, they were like, "You need to do this," and I waited to the last day, and I finally did it. My dad didn't even know; like nobody knew I was going to do it. And then I just auditioned because it was like online at the time. Is the way you was trying. They wanted to kind of to filter the people and see who had the look, and so they put it out online. They were trying to draw as many people that looked like them as possible. So when I finally put it up, nobody knew I was going to do it. And then my dad seen it. It was like, "Wait, what?"
right, I can see me.
And he
saying
worked
it.
with Tupac too.
Yeah,
Right.
your dad worked with Tupac on what is it?
Toss it up.
Toss It Up, and
Uh-huh.
a few other things. We met Meech, I think it was through Jimmy Iovine,
Yeah, Jimmy
put us
Iovine.
together from
Interscope.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
That's great. I didn't even know that.
yeah,
Jimmy.
Jimmy Iovine put us together. We wanted to keep our music
I think
fresh.
Meech did some stuff with maybe Death Row.
He was doing stuff with Death Row.
So
Absolutely.
we're all over there at the time.
Right.
Wow, I had no
We're
idea.
all
about
over
that.
there with Jimmy at the time. And
Yeah.
They knew he was a church boy too.
which is good. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Wow.
I was over there praying and laying hands on people. Now I think about that, I'm like, girl,
Tell
you
him
were.
about the jar. I don't think he knows. About
Oh
the
yeah, we had a cussing jar.
Carson,
Anybody who cussed had
Inside
to
the
put
office, right? Inside
That's
the
right. You
yeah, I
remember
remember
that?
that. I remember that. That's funny.
So I really loved it, especially when the Interscope and Death
Yeah,
Row
they
people
cuss all the
came
time.
by and cussed because we would get big money for Angel Tree Foundation. I said,
Wow.
yeah,
Christmas,
say some more, and I would just put that jar out. We
Oh,
raised so
great.
much money. Oh,
Yeah,
and Dr.
Yeah.
Dre, one time we all went to go see Kirk Franklin at Magic Mountain,
Oh wow.
and we brought the cussing jar with us, and Jimmy IB,
yeah,
and some
Dre,
others.
and a bunch of us.
Yeah,
We had a bus. We went
yeah,
up there.
yeah. And he said the big word. We got the MF word. He said the big word, and so that was $50.
Oh wow.
And yeah, and he said that I had to give, and I did. We gave him $25 back because he said he owned the copyright.
We always say some crazy stuff. We doing some crazy stuff.
That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, we've got to get into. Before that, I want to talk a little bit about you as you know, homeboy and all of that. You're from Carson, California, and your grandparents.
The grandparents, yeah.
Your grandparents
Yes.
were just
Amazing.
stellar
Pillars in the community.
pillars in Carson,
Yeah.
and in all of LA. And people say you look like Tupac, but the truth of the matter is you look like your grandma and you look like the daddy.
Well, right now he's giving me his mom, like right here.
That's
That's all I
funny.
see.
Yeah, but you guys are all from that same tribe with the nose and the whole Tupac-ish thing going there. But your grandparents I adore, and I adore your parents as well.
Father, your grandfather, particularly.
Grandfather in particular, and your grandmother. I mean, they were just pillars, and they will be missed. They passed on 2 years, has it been, or one?
It's been
A year, a little bit over a year now.
Yeah, not quite 2 years. Not quite two.
It's just
not quite 2 years.
That was
It'll be 2 years later this
time
year.
because it was like boom, boom.
Yeah.
Really
It
they
was
just passed
crazy.
within months of each other.
Less than 2 months. Yeah.
Your grandmother just was gonna go
Bless
be
her
with
Yeah.
her husband. That's what that was. So, but that was a very touching time. And but I mean, I wanted to know, first of all, I was thinking about some things because you're a very articulate young man, and you were being raised in Carson. You got a couple of things. You got the pillars and the educated blacks, which the gangs are there.
Right.
There's the street thing going on
your
there.
father's testimony about that.
Yeah, your father actually had to deal with that whole gang thing, and so I'm wondering how you. I mean, you had the dichotomy. You had your parents who were, your grandfather was a bishop and a first lady, and then you had this whole street thing going on, and your father who had been in the whole, been in the gang thing, I think. So tell me about that.
Well, just for me, I did watch a little bit of it with my father. I think he transitioned out of it for the most part once he got, into success and things, and more so when he had children in the family. Then he came home and, he wanted to turn his life around, which he did. And that's what got him started in his music career, was me being born. And then me kind of growing up around it as well. Carson is like a melting pot of, you get a little bit of everything. So you see success, you see middle class black families thriving and succeeding in life, and then along right in that you see the gang life and the other side to it, and it can be it's really something that it's really black and white. It blurs out. There's no gray in it because you get to see like, okay, you can follow this line, you can do these things in life, or you can go. You can go join the gang things because it's right there for you. You feel me?
I mean, did you belong to a gang at one time? Were you asked to be in the gang? How's that work?
Being so close to it though, it was kind of like you're almost. I think in all of LA, in any part of it, some of it is by guilty by association, whether you are directly in it or whatever. Just
you from that neighborhood.
Exactly. You often can get guilty by association, affiliation in your family or whatever. But me, I definitely strayed away from it. I definitely strayed away from it because I seen exactly what it led to.
With your fathers.
My father and my uncle.
Okay.
More so because my uncle and I were closer. We're closer in age, and him and I were really close. He was like my brother, and so really young with him, I seen him go to jail and all that type of stuff, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's what I'm not like. I'm not doing that. So that's what kept me away from it.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. And then of course you have incredible parents and like I said, your grandparents for sure. But I always wondered about that. So
Did music help in that process and how your involvement in music? You know, in terms of having something else to get.
Well, it wasn't more so that it was honestly the true thing is that my dad moved me away from Carson, so that was another part of it.
Okay.
I do credit him. Yeah, he took me out of it. It was at the perfect time. So right when I graduated, like, you know, culminated from elementary school, one, I couldn't go to the middle school that everybody was going to. My parents made that abundantly clear before I even finished. Like, you're not going to Curtis. So don't.
Okay. Okay.
Curtis
That's how you work that. Okay.
Curtis Middle School was the breeding grounds for the, you know, for people to go that other way.
Affiliations,
Right. And then they moved me. We moved out of Carson. We moved into like a gated community in Lakewood, and seeing that and living in that area, you know, for a couple of years, that did change just my perception of life. You know, it gave me a little bit more perspective.
Mitch is on set, you guys, and that's why he has to wear the mask. He doesn't want to get in trouble. He's in between doing something that we're going to find out.
He's making boss moves.
Okay,
you got to move around. What is this? So he's on set right now. He's going to talk to us about that as well. So
let me get somewhere else because they're about to drive me.
Make sure you got the bars too when you on your phone.
Yeah, I think we're good.
But that's why he has to keep his mask on, and we can't see his gorgeous face. Like I said, looking like his daddy and his grandma. So
I think I should be good right here.
Oh, okay. Now I don't know, it's a little dark here. We gotta keep that light going.
All right, can y'all see me?
Can you guys see Meech's face? Let's see.
I know the light might be a little bit bad back here.
Hit the screen, and the screen will, it should adjust. The camera will adjust.
Oh, that's fine. If you see right.
It just like keeps on.
Yeah, just tap the screen and
like we were trying to
keep forward. Yeah, it's kind of. You guys, can you see, or is it a little dark?
Maybe if I face the other way.
There you go. Oh, right there.
I just need.
But you know, we're gonna be patient with him. You're excellent right now. You're excellent.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right,
cool. Oh yeah, that's real good.
I wish I had somewhere to set it down. It's all good though.
Like I said, he's on set, and he was gracious enough to take a break to be with us. But anyway, so music was your first love. Did you start in church, or how did you start playing music? Where and what do you play?
Well, I'm like a natural born drummer, so of course grew up playing drums in the church.
What age?
And being around my dad, like I just, of course, gravitated and wanted to be a part of it because I was at the studio, you know, since I was a kid. I've been in the studio with my dad, so yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
Okay, so Meech brought you. When I'm saying Meech, I'm using it interchangeably because I want to respect Meech Jr., who I've never called that before, and not call him Meech. But so, okay, so you started with the drums.
Okay, hopefully that's better. All right, cool.
Okay, right. So you started with the drums. You play anything else? You can sing too, right?
I'm not gonna tell them on live if I can or not yet.
Okay, well, your father can sing through the floor.
Yeah, he can sing for sure. But I can.
I got a good memory of you singing though. We don't have to talk about that. I have a good memory. We don't have to do that.
Well, no, I've learned how to play the piano now. That's the other instrument I know how to play.
Piano. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's cool. That's very cool.
How are you learning to do the piano? Do you have a teacher? And how does that work during COVID?
YouTube.
I started like about 16 is when I started playing the piano. Like I started like trying. I used one of my grandmother's keyboards at her house when I was staying with them, and then I just like started YouTubing like my favorite songs and I wanted to learn, and that's how I started.
Wow. Yeah. But tell me, a little bit more about the acting, because that seems like I said, I was just shocked to hear that you were acting, and so it happened kind of by mistake. But we know God doesn't make mistakes,
Right.
and it was ordained to be. But what? So all of a sudden, did you start taking classes then? What have you done to hone your skills? Because you didn't plan to do this.
Yeah, so I ended up they put me in acting classes right when they got closer to it being like a real potential, you know, thing for me getting a role. They had me in
Who's they
classes.
that put you in?
The production company,
Okay.
Morgan Creek, because I had auditioned.
Okay.
Yeah, they put me in acting classes about 4 years later after our first audition, and then from that they gave me an acting coach, Angela E. Gibbs, who was Marta Gibbs' daughter, and with her, yeah, she's the one that like. That's how it was. She brought out the actor in me.
Okay, yeah, because you
she's
can
the one that made
really
it happen.
see it's there, and it just grows with every film. Now, I gotta tell you this, like Auntie, honey, some of that language and stuff in these movies you be doing is awfully rough. I'm just being straight up.
But it's part of the character.
It's part of the character, and it's part of acting. I was just a little, whoa! But,
I know, right? That had to be kind of like crazy to hear me talk like that. You ain't seen me in a while.
Right. I was like, oh, okay.
She said it, so snapped out the movie and was like, Mitch, what you doing?
Right.
But you were doing a great job, and I've just seen the steady growth, and it wasn't a one-time thing. You've so are you still working with Miss Gibbs? Are you able to go to school? Are you
Absolutely.
plays?
Yeah, I'm still working with Angela. She's still my my coach. We're killing it right now. I'm just getting a whole lot better. I love it. It's like having her is the everything, you know. It's the ace in up my sleeve at all times.
Okay. She really is bringing it out of you, because I was wondering for other young people that are out there that all of a sudden you get discovered, basically. You just go on, you never talked about it, your mom and dad, nobody knew. We didn't know that you wanted to act, and then so you acted, and then what, did you start loving it, or was it cool?
I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so one thing I do want people to know is that I would have never wanted to be an actor, like theoretically, because I always wanted to be the person that was successful but behind the scenes. And, you know, as a producer, I didn't even want to really be known that, like, you know, popular or famous or whatever as a producer. I wanted to be the person again that was like successful, and, you know, but it was always like behind the scenes. I never wanted to be out front and anything. So Angela, you know, she brought something out of me, and I love it. Like now I'm very much comfortable like in the element of being on set and like filming, and I love the entire process. That's where I'm most comfortable now.
Really?
Wow. So now you've gone through COVID during this whole process and how things got shut down, and so during this time, were you still working and practicing your craft?
So I did do a great deal of tapes during like the COVID process. I was, you know, just tapes. That's pretty much it. You know, auditions.
What do you mean by tapes?
Sub tapes. So just auditions. I would go work with my coach, and we would put sub tapes down for auditions, you know, for different roles.
Okay, so for those that don't know, you do your acting on a tape, and then you send it to casting. Tell me that process, because you say on tapes. But,
okay,
so
you do
so
you'll do a self tape, which is like audition on your own instead of going into an actual casting place. You'll do an audition on your, you know, self tape on your own, and then you'll send it to the casting office. And then from there, they do what they have to do with it.
So it's like doing a demo. It's like a demo piece. On the music side, it's a demo.
Right. Yeah.
Different people, your son.
Right.
So I mean, you've got a Netflix project out, Uncut, and
yes,
Cutthroat City.
Me? Oh God. Can you do it for me, Austin? If you don't.
Do you have to get up and go?
My car is dirty, brother. Don't judge me.
Honey, you take care of your business now. If we gotta get up, we'll put your dad on.
It's okay. It's all right. But yeah, as of now, the movie Cutthroat City, which came out last year during the pandemic, It's
Yes.
on Netflix now. It is the #1 movie in the U.S. as of today, right now.
All right. All
Yeah.
right.
Oh, really?
Thank you.
Now
Thank you.
I have yet. When I go home, I'm gonna watch that.
It's on the top, whatever.
Right.
1, 2, 3.
I had to get my stuff ready for the language and everything. Now, are you always playing? I'm just being real. I support you, and the other thing is that I've grown in as a Christian is that I don't want people to depict stuff that's not real either. It's an insult.
Mhm.
So if you have somebody that's coming from that life, you know, you got to deal with it. Now, what is the Cutthroat? Is it the same kind of what kind of a character are you playing in that?
It's a grittier character for sure.
Grittier than Tupac's character?
What?
Tupac was not gritty, Biggie.
Okay.
So he's from the streets of New Orleans. It's based on post Karina. You know, they're in a, you know, everything is kind of messed up out there, and they're like, you know, we have to make a way, we have to find a way, and they resort to stealing.
Oh, that's right, because this is during the floods and everything.
Yeah.
Post floods, that's right.
Yeah, so we go on a heist of we're gonna. Is that my car?
Did you just get called?
No,
His car.
I was just my car.
Somebody took your car?
No. I was just checking because I just heard some tires skirting. But
okay.
It's just, you know, post Katrina, you know, they're low. You know, there's no sign of hope or anything, you know, moving forward, and so they find themselves in a kind of a messed up situation, and then they resort to, you know, going and robbing local casinos throughout Louisiana.
Wow. So Jay wants to know how you got the role of Tyrone in All American. Now, what kind of role is that? Is that the...
Oh, Tyrone's crazy. He's nuts. Tyrone is the worst character.
So you don't want to call Tyrone.
Okay, so I'm going to go next to Cutthroat, then I'll go to All American.
Okay.
So maybe I can handle it like that. But yeah, because I want to support, and I love seeing the growth of your acting. So let's answer Jay's question about people are correcting me left and right because they know I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's funny. I can't see nothing on the thing. It's frozen for me, so I can't even see like, what's going on. But
so how did you get the role of Tyrone?
I got the role of Tyrone through Benny Boom, the director of All Eyes on Me. He was shooting an episode of All American, and he referred me to the showrunner for an episode, and he was trying to get me on his episode, I believe. I'm not certain, but I really think it was him trying to get me on his episode that he was shooting. And he referred me to the showrunner, and she was like, no, I want him for something more. And so she had me audition for they had me audition for one role, which was supposed to be only like 2 episodes max. And then when I did that audition, it went really good. And they were like, nah, we want to give him something bigger. So they gave me what they call...
That's a good thing.
Wow. Yeah, that's...
Yeah, they gave me a 3-episode arc. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it. So
remember, he's on set right now, everybody. So he's got to take his time.
So I got hired for 3 episodes, and then I ended up doing 14 because I came back to
14.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay,
look at you. My Lord, look what God can do. I mean,
that is great.
So the gift is making room for you, man. That's what that means.
Right.
A gift you didn't even know that you had.
Right.
You were running around the office being a little Romeo trying to take old women out to...
He's got a Romeo role.
Yeah.
That's the role I can't wait for. I can't wait for it.
So showrunners, producers, writers, he's quite a good leading man, Romeo type.
On the piano.
Yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna come up for sure. So then I wonder though, do you want to expand it, or sometimes it's okay to play the same kind of roles? But how do you feel about that? Because I don't know. I was wondering. I was so excited about it, and I'm like, baby, get all the work, get all the chips you can get. But then also, sometimes I think, is he getting the diversity of roles? Does he want diversity? Is it cool the way it is? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I really want to play like a love interest. That's the next role that I really would love to play, which I've done actually. The second thing that I did ended up being somewhat of that on Tales for BET. I did like a love interest, and I did the season finale of that series. But that's definitely something that I want to do, and I don't think that I'm not typecast now. Like the next movie that
you won't be, but some people are, you know.
Well, but your tapes that you submit all types of characters.
Right.
So you use that to kind of show your breadth of acting capability. So you show different kinds of characters that you can represent.
Definitely. I had an array of roles that I went out for this past year. And they were very diverse, and which I loved. And each one I just got to build and just grow, and like I just love that process. And I'm pretty certain that coming sometime soon I'll be able to.
I just get chills, and I'm like a proud auntie. I'm like a proud auntie. I can't help. Some people are sitting up here saying Tupac is still alive. See, I told you. But you've been able to transcend that. Very wisely. Right. So you I mean,
that's the biggest blessing for me, honestly. In all of this is because I don't think nobody knew how I would transcend from that. The whole, even my managers prior and, agents or whatever, my team, from a while back when I first started, nobody really had an idea how to transition me out of Tupac and, start to build my own name. And then, All American happened a year or so after All Eyes on Me came out, and I got hired for that role in September of 2018. But what really did it for All American and for me transitioning out of that was All American being very successful the following year, 2019, on Netflix. Once All American went to Netflix, it went crazy.
That was
and that was like the beginning of me transitioning out of Tupac into Tyrone. And once season 2 of All American rolled around in last year, then I was officially like Tyrone. I was in.
Tyrone.
Now it's like now it's
will I be able to handle All American?
I don't. The only thing I can say is it's less. It's not as vulgar, but he's dark.
Okay, well, I know there's some other great stuff coming too, and you'll have something for your old auntie to be able to digest too. But I learned something about you recently too. Is that we have a mutual friend, Flex Alexander, Shanice, and you know them too, and you have a little story to tell about that. You used to, when you first met him, was at our house. And...
Oh yeah, I remember I first met Flex at your house at a Christmas party, I believe. I don't know what year that was. That was a long time ago.
That was
probably January. New Year's Day, we used to have a big party.
Exactly, it was New Year's, right.
Dancing.
Right. So it was then, and I just remember, this is how I know it was a long time ago, because my baby sister was a baby still. So,
then it had to be before then.
Right. Yeah. Mia was like, she couldn't have been no more than 5, I think.
Wow.
And so, and then I think I ran into Flex 2 years ago at a breast cancer thing that my grandmother wanted me to go to. I seen him, and it was like a full circle kind of dope moment.
Oh, wow.
And you guys share managers now, right?
Yeah, and we share the same manager.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you were at our house, you're young, we're dancing and eating and just hanging, and it turns out that you're an actor and you both have the same manager. But then Flex is a great actor too, and you both. But, it's like one of those movies where you pass in time and you don't know, but then you're a kid and he's with Chinese, you're dancing, and then you come to the present and you're an actor too.
Right.
And you have the same manager, stuff like
that.
Right,
and we shared that story. I told him about it, and he remembered, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, he's awesome like that.
Yeah, we hope to have them on very soon. As soon as they get a chance. But excuse me, I know it's unprofessional, but my nose starts running. Speaking of nose running, this is crazy. But if you see, I have a tiara on, darling. I've got my pearls.
I heard that. Let them know.
So this is for Kamala.
Oh.
And this is for Amanda Gorman, honey, who I can't stop talking about her. This week, she was at the inauguration. She's a homegirl from LA.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole thing happening with her as a poet laureate and all that?
I love it. That was dope. And I love the speech that she got up there with. She let them know it was real black. It was real proud.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
can't be more excited and happy for that alone, because that's not something that we've seen.
No. I mean, she's kind of in the steps of Dr. Maya Angelou, and Common kind of in there. But I just feel like there's going to be a whole blossoming now of poet to rap to poetry.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see. I think there's going to be a resurgence of it. That's what I saw when I saw her doing that, and into lyrics.
Right.
Because the poetry, lyrics are poetry. Poetry is lyric, and I was excited about that. And Kamala, of course. What do you tell me? I wonder sometimes what a young man like yourself that we know. How do you feel about all this political stuff and Trump being out and Biden being?
Well, if I'm
sick of it.
I tend to kind of like stay away from the political stuff, just because my views about it are a little different. Because
I know your dad's
I'm more so, yeah, exactly. So I'm more so about what we're doing as a culture, because I feel like they're gonna be doing what they always have been doing, and it's gonna always be for the best of their interest, even when it, there's always a lot of, pro everything. It's a lot of noise and celebration for us when it's election time.
Right.
So, but when the years continue past that,
you don't hear nothing.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of begin the same thing. So, me myself, I'm more concerned with what we're doing as a community, as a culture for ourselves, as opposed to what we expect them to do for us.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I agree.
We have to work on our own.
Yeah, and be not dependent on anything. Not that we don't care about other folks, but when you're up and love us, when you're down and hate us, don't want to say, we have to be able to keep it going. It's good to hear that.
And what's I think is happening is that thought process, I think, is beginning to impact. And so trying to make, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you've got to be accountable to our community.
Right.
What are you doing? How are you supporting what we're doing, what we need to have done? Doesn't always have to be a handout, but, what are you doing to support those things that we need done in our community?
Right.
And that's my view.
Right.
It's
got you.
I've been on both sides. I said, what are y'all doing?
Right. So I mean, have you been building in that way? Or there's some other things that you're really, as we used to say, in nation building kind of a thing?
There's some things that I'm working on and I am building on. It's just right timing, of course. Everything is like doing at the right time, and just being able to make sure that I utilize the platform for the right things, and just right timing. So there will be things that I kind of announce it, and I'm a part of coming soon.
But that's good. That's good that you're taking your time and being pensive about it, really thinking, and because you're out there for everybody to see now.
Right.
And so there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that, and I mean, it's good you have family, foundation, and people that love you for you. Because tell me how that's been.
What? Like famous stuff?
Well, I want to know, are all the girlies around? Do we have to start beating people off? You're single. I want to know, because I mean, this is what happens. You get famous, and then everybody starts coming around. Everybody don't love you. They just want what you got. And I'm wondering, has that stuff started hit yet?
Oh, that game. You know what? This is the perfect part. This is the best part of it. It has, and it's passed. And so now for the next phase of my life, I know exactly how to deal with it. And it won't be something that I have an issue with. I didn't have a problem with it when it did happen. It was just really, it got very weird, very fast. And I was like, wait.
Just all the women and all the people.
Not
all
even
of a
just
sudden.
women, but it was just like people in general doing things that I would have never thought like they would do. And it's like just a small example is people who I had zero of a, no relationship with at all, like, or even a bad relationship with, reaching out to me as if nothing ever happened. Like, oh, come party with me, come pull up. I'm out here. Let's hang out. Like, wait, what? Like,
What?
Right.
Where you come
I
from?
haven't seen you in 8 years, and the last time I did see you, we weren't even cool, mutual, or
You weren't even
anything. And
talking
now
to
we
me.
like,
Yeah. Welcome to Hollywood, right?
yeah,
I mean, you've been in LA, but Hollywood is a whole
right,
Let me ask you a question, because you're a single parent.
right.
So how you handle it? How you juggling it with your kids? You're acting. You're on set now. I know they're somewhere, and school is crazy. They need to be homeschooled.
yeah.
Right.
There's a
Yeah,
whole lot of stuff going on. So I mean, how you dealing with all that, man?
well, one, their moms are great, so I don't, that's
Okay.
a beautiful thing about it is that I do have, their moms are definitely great and they help out a lot. My family is amazing. My mom, of course,
Your
always
mom.
Oh
helps out
yes.
with
She
it.
is
Okay.
She can,
amazing.
my
Yes, yes.
sisters, so I have a great support system. So as far as like me being a single father, I'm not really in a jam because I have great support along with my kids.
How old
Okay.
are they and all that? You gotta send me pictures. I'm
I
like,
do.
I'll send you some
It's
pictures.
on
Yeah.
Instagram.
They're
okay.
11, 7, and 6.
Lord have mercy.
Hmm.
Woo.
Now the oldest one, she's a cute little girl, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
But she got two little brothers to take care of her. Take care
Right,
of
and
her.
they gonna listen.
They ain't
They
gonna
gonna
mess
ride
with
for her for sure. One thing about them and they sisters, they do not play about her. They might like you can't nobody else do nothing to her at all.
I know.
So the rough road.
I saw that, bro.
So I mean, you
Beautiful
can't.
little children.
Yeah, I don't know. Did I miss it or did you guys show me?
Yeah, it's
What?
okay.
Oh, the picture?
Yeah, because
Okay.
so I'm
We'll show her later.
Yeah,
I'm kind
I'll
of
have to
getting a
send you a
little
picture.
slow. Yeah, but so you went through that. When did all that happen? When all these people are calling you stuff right after the All Eyes on Me movie with you playing Tupac?
Yeah, it wasn't even after. It was so the All Eyes on Me process. I have to say, like, it started fully about December 2015, and it didn't
Yeah,
end until 2000 to July 2017. So from that, it might have been
that
a
was
little bit longer,
principal
but
photography.
that was a lot of not just the filming. I mean, like the process of like
The process.
it was the trailers, just all types of stuff. Just it was a
Okay.
And getting
big
immersed in the character, so
yeah.
you were in that character.
Well, no,
a lot of
just
that
the
time.
world of that movie for my life lasted two and a half years. Like it just from beginning of production to
red carpet
distribution, red carpet premieres, video shoot, like photo shoots. Just it was a long time, and whew, when it was finally when it was all finally
Who are the
said and done, I
directors
was
on
happy.
that movie?
Beanie Boom.
Oh, Benny Boom, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you on?
So because being the lead character, I mean, the whole burden or supporting the whole marketing effort, everything was centered around you
On your first project.
on your first project. So
Yeah.
this is all a learning experience in terms of the what do you call it, these where you go out on these different tours to all the different radios, not radio stations,
The promotional tours, and
and so all of that. So I mean, you were involved in all of that had to be in a very prominent way because you were the lead character.
Right.
So what are you on now? Can you tell us? Is you're on the set? Can you say anything?
Keep it on the.
Can't say anything.
This will be out pretty soon, but it's nothing too crazy.
Okay.
It's fun.
I mean, I was just wondering what it was gonna be.
This is a video. This is a photo shoot I'm doing here.
Oh, you're on a photo shoot. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So we gotta keep it real tight on the time. So
with everything that's been going on, just COVID, pandemic, lockdown, how have you been processing, like, mentally, how just dealing with everything? As a person, because it's been, I know for myself, my bubble is this right here, my parents.
Uh-huh.
Yes, like that's bad.
No, but I mean, I
bubble
don't.
right here.
They're high risk, and I don't. I'm very conscious if I stray out of it. So that means I
Right.
spend
Because of
a
our
lot
age.
of it by myself, FaceTime,
Mhm.
and it can get very it's been difficult
Right.
because
No,
I'm putting them first. You know what I mean? And so
yeah.
sometimes I know, like, I just started therapy like 2 Saturdays ago just to help myself just get through that. And so I just wanted to know, as a black man and just as a human being, how has that been for you?
It I just set a lot of goals for myself and just like started being productive in things that I was interested and passionate about. Like, so I'm very passionate about working out. So I went really, hard, as soon as the
Working out,
pandemic, I started working out a lot. And then I started playing piano a lot more as well. So I got, I got a lot better with that. And then just different, various things that people are going to find out later that I started doing during the pandemic. Just that again, I had a strong interest in, and that I started, giving some good time and effort to.
Well, I heard you do have a passion, which was really profound for me with therapy, and I found that interesting because when we were young, you couldn't even say the word therapy.
Yeah,
You were
and
looked at like you were
physical therapy.
Yeah, right. And it's funny because I always tell the story when I reference, and I tell people about me in therapy. Um, my ex-girlfriend of mine at one point in time, she suggested therapy. Like, would you go to therapy? And I literally said, like, I'm a black man. That's not for me. Like, what I look like
I feel
therapy. That's for other people, right? Those are my words, and I ate those words, and I look.
That's in our culture a lot.
Yeah, right. So now I think, well, just informing how I got into it and why I did it more so. I wanted to make sure that I was giving myself the best opportunity to like be the best version of me, and that I wasn't allowing anything past to hinder that. So I didn't want to be like a person who has all of this potential to succeed and do these things and be great in life, but never did what it took to, to move in that direction because I had things that were, that I needed to work through for myself. So it was kind of like out of fear a little bit. It was like, wait, I don't want to.
You don't want to make the mistakes, and then you hear about that's good.
That's really great.
I mean, so do you have a bubble or a group of people now that you can trust and that you're around, or is it the same old people that you've always had, or how do you?
It's somewhat like the same old people, but I have a network, a circle of people who are continuously like trying to be the best versions of themselves, and so I'm around consistent, like it's all motivation and inspiration for myself. Exactly, like we're all on the same thing. I talk to my friends daily, and they're all like, in one way or another, I'm inspired, I'm motivated, or I feel good about something that I might have accomplished, or they'll point out something good, and it's just a real great camaraderie and network of just positive, uplifting, energy. The energy is just great. Yeah, and we're all a consistent work and a kind of like a teaching each other at the same time and growing and challenging each other to grow. So that's the network of people that I have. And for the people who don't have that to give and we're not in the same thing, it's like
let them go back.
Let's not even let you go, because that I was at some point like it's not.
Well, sometimes because it can be so dangerous and so detrimental.
Right.
If you're around a person, for example, that's wants to always borrow money and thinks you have more than you have, and is draining you, and a lot of success for us as Black people is maybe first or second generation. We're still trying to understand the real stuff you have to do, like Biggie was saying, more money, more problems. Yeah. It's really true. Just dealing with taxes, and you want to be around like-minded people, or people that know more than you. Really,
right, exactly. That's been the win in my life. is me being around people that are more knowledgeable in a lot more areas than I am,
That
and that
can
I
help
can
you
grow
whatever
from,
they
that I
right.
can learn from. And
But
I feel like that's a key component to growth is, one, you have to be willing to do the work for yourself. You have to want to,
that's right.
grow. It might be uncomfortable. It's not always fun. It's not always easy. But
Yeah.
you also have to surround yourself with people that you can learn from. If you don't have a circle of people that you can learn and grow with, or like just soak gain from in any type of way, it's going to be hard for you to expand in your life.
That's true. That is so true.
Right.
That's
Or
so
if you
true.
have a big entourage and all that. I never understood
Those
that.
people.
That stuff is expensive.
No, what, but what you say is very encouraging, because, we all, I can speak for myself, but we have a growth group that I'm involved with, men's growth group, and we kind of provide that kind of support, but it's more spiritually based, more faith based, and so I'm just wondering, how, knowing your grandparents, what is the role of faith in your life now? Is it what
Listen,
role does it play?
I never stray away from letting people know that
Yeah.
without God, I am not nowhere close to where I am. And like my grandparents
Okay.
and the favor and the prayers and all of the things that they've imparted in my life is the exact reason why I'm here right now and why I will continue to be great and grow. And, like without them and without God, like none of this is possible. And my life has been like a complete example of that. I have many stories that I could tell. This is like, oh no, it's only God. You feel me? So once you know that,
Can you tell us a quick one?
Here's the quickest one that I can give you. So Angela Gibbs, my acting coach. I got introduced to her after I was in the acting class. Now the interesting thing about me meeting her and all of that stuff is, one, I had no ambition to be an actor or anything. My best friend, he was always the one who told me about the movie. He was a child actor. He was in, a couple movies and TV shows as we were kids. And so he would go to acting classes as a young kid. And there were times that I went with him. It was in the Mert Park. And I would go like every now and then, if I spent the night, I would go with him. Right. And so a couple times I went, I participated or whatever. Nothing crazy there. Right. So X amount of years later, I end up at an audition in 2014, and I go, and it's in Lamert Park. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy, right? I'm like, oh, and I look up, the audition is literally like right next door to where he and I, when I would go with him or whatever, like it was right next door to one of my auditions, right? So I'm like, oh, that's nuts. So I ended up, again, the following year, I ended up with Angela Gibbs, and I think this was our second meeting, because the way they did it was they had me go work with Angela to see how I liked it, and to see if I would work with her. So it went well the first time. The second time I go back with her, and she's like, so tell me something. Tell me, something crazy. And I'm like, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe, God has you where you are, and there are signs that God will give you and show you that He's the one making things happen, and it's only Him. And so I'm telling her this same story I'm sharing with you, that my best friend and going to school, and he's the one that told me about the movie to begin with. I shot my first audition at his house, and with his camera and all of this stuff. And I'm telling her this story, and I'm like, yeah, I ended up at this acting class right next to the audition I was at. And I'm like, and I'm telling her this story, and she's kind of like, wow. And I'm like, I look up at her face, she has this kind of like dumbfounded look on her face, and she tells me like, that was her school that I was at.
That's her school. That was her school.
That was her school. Angela Gibbs founded Crossroads acting class.
Crossroads. That's a famous school. Look, God is something else. I mean, we've got some feedback here.
I wish I could see, but I can't.
Shanice and Flex are on. They just said,
Flex, shout out.
Some people are saying, we want to see you do don't do any more bad boy roles. Do some good boy roles.
No, I have another movie that'll come out. Who knows when? But I'm a good guy in that one.
Okay. Hey, Shanice. Hey. And there was someone who asked, why were you running around the office? So I guess they didn't make the first part. But Meech's dad is an incredible producer. He produced some of the stuff on Tupac's records and tossed it up. bet you who you are, and did work for us. We had a company called Gospel Centric with Kirk Franklin, Kurt Carr, Alicia.
Kirk Franklin owes me some credit, not to interrupt, but Kirk Franklin, if you listening to this, brother, Kirk Franklin owes me some producer credits for, is it the Rebirth album? Because I'm real.
We did the
Rebirth.
I was in the studio.
Rebirth album, right? I was in that. I remember the big studio that he had the big studio, and he was like, he asked me like, what you think about these sounds? And I was like, yeah, that one. I helped Kirk figure out a couple sounds. He said he was gonna give me some credit. I need my credit, Kirk.
Well, okay.
I need him to just go online. Hey, he told me.
So what's my producer credit?
So we created, and we're gonna have to put this in a book or something. But we created a studio for our artists to go in, because at the time I was taking Trinity 5-7 into a studio with Snoop, and they were all smoking and everything, and I was like, this is just not working for me, you know. And they're gorgeous and everybody was nice, but they're smoking. And so we prayed and talked about getting our own studio. So we had an office and studio, and people used to stay in there constantly. And Meech Senior was our guy and producer, and all of our young sound, our rap and stuff like that. Meech was coordinating and doing and helping us get sounds that were,
After this, I gotta go. Is the John Gibson album on streaming?
Yeah,
John Gibson's album, it should be, but we need to get with John, because some of the tracks, when we did our deal with Sony, not everything, they didn't put everything up. They just put up certain songs and stuff. Some whole albums aren't even up there.
Yeah,
and so I know with Papa San, we talked with him, some of his, they've just not put some of his Papa San's projects up there, but John Gibson's album, that was a nice album.
That album was good.
Nice album, man.
I have to go run that back. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, a lot of it's not there, and we have to try to get it out. But some of that stuff, well, guess what? Some of those songs are on my playlist. I have something called Vicki Max Wax Tracks on Spotify, and we put some John Gibson songs up there. That one, people, we got to get it together before. Yeah, your dad did a lot of writing on that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did a lot of producing and writing on that.
That's a good album. That's a good album.
John Gibson, it was just really making it happen. Well, we're going to get to some of these questions really quick, because we just got a few minutes.
Okay.
I don't know what you kind of touched on what he was going to do upcoming, but he's not going to give up the so we got to wait to hear what's going to come down in terms of what's coming up for you.
I want to see a drum battle between you and your dad, because we saw your dad play.
He can't beat me in drums.
I saw your dad play recently, and I was like, wait a minute, and then he got on the organ.
Well, yeah, he's a beast there, of course. Like that's
on the
legend.
But let's not talk drums.
Yeah. On the organ,
let's be real.
He's a legend.
And I wonder if the producers and stuff know all this about you, how musical you are.
It's funny, because here's the thing. So in the music world, because I'm still doing music now, and that's going to be something, again, that people find out, as they do. But I've always said, like, man, people, they do music now. It's like, I really grew up in this for real. Like, not just, I was at the studio all the time. I lived there with my dad, I was there quite often. And my experience and my just relationship to music is vastly different from the everyday. It's like y'all like it because it's cool.
Everybody. It's like appreciation for the studio experience, because like myself, we were raised in it, so we don't look at it as a place to hang out.
Yeah, like for example, like I know what a case full of DATs look like. Nobody even remembers.
Yeah.
Like if I gave somebody a DAT right now, they'd be like, "What is this?"
It's a DAT file. What's a DAT file, right? The little DAT tape.
Yeah, I mean, but you guys.
I got an old DAT player in the garage.
But I mean, we were young. We were young Black people who we had to create an environment where kids were able to come too, because
Right.
we were parents, and so we had this
Yeah, I
kind
got
of
to.
studio
Right. I
playroom
remember I got
daycare.
to be around Rodney. Dang, I remember. That's
Rodney
crazy.
Right, yeah, guys.
Rodney Jerkins. I got to see him like work. That was amazing.
Yeah, he was
Right.
living at the studio. I mean,
And
people,
it's a GP environment. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, people don't haven't. I don't think they've really seen that. Hopefully we
I mean,
can
PG,
show
right?
the PG. We could that
It's
we
a
can
PG environment.
we can show how it was a family place. We
For
ate
sure.
soul food, we ate Roscoe's, and I had the kids running around, and
Yeah.
folks in the studio and stuff people couldn't go back. Somebody saying, Tyrone, I thought you were dead. What does that mean?
You gotta get caught up, Mom. You gotta get caught up.
You gotta go watch All
Let's
American
do a follow-up.
on
Let's
Netflix.
get caught up.
I was like, Tyrone, I thought you were
No,
dead.
you just need to call Tyrone.
Well, you know what? We don't wanna make you get in trouble
wanna
with your
cut-
photo
Yeah.
shoot. We
But we
eating up
got-
your money. So we want to say thank you so
So very
much.
much,
Oh,
man.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad I could do it. This warmed my heart for today, like for real. So
And then
like this is
we're gonna have it on YouTube. We'll carry this on YouTube, you guys.
Okay,
So you can
dope.
see it there under Car Fittable Talks. And God bless you and what you're doing.
Grown.
We are always family.
For
Always
sure.
just gonna be cheering. I gotta watch some of this other stuff on
Yes.
Netflix. I'm gonna take it.
Yeah, keep us
Step by
updated
step.
now. Keep us updated.
I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
please.
We in contact now, so we
Okay.
as soon as
Yeah.
things clear up or however we gotta work it, I have to come see y'all. So do something.
Okay.
Like we gotta figure it
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I talked to your dad this morning. So
Oh wow.
that was cool. And
And we
Shawty talked to your mom.
last
Yeah.
night.
Oh,
So
wow.
we gotta do a whole
Right.
beat it a
Thank
whole
you.
moment.
But God bless you. Continued success to you.
Yeah.
We're proud of you. We're
We're
so
so
happy for
proud
you.
of you.
So have a great
Thank you.
photo shoot, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great
Thank you. I
photo
appreciate it.
shoot.
Love you all. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Okay, love you
All right.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, what's
Thank
up?
you so much for watching Car Fittable
Yes,
Talks.
thank you.
Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
Leave some comments. We really need to hear from you.
thank you.